Dinosaur Adventure Land in Lenox, Alabama, October 2nd, 2023. We're racing right through the whole month of October, brother. We're going to make it, I believe, if we hang in there. Tonight, Exodus chapter 4, the second book in the Bible, Genesis, Exodus, the story from when they go out, exit, to go out of Egypt. More excuses. God's trying to get Moses to do his job. You ever been called to do a job and you just didn't want to do it? Make an excuse. Okay. We're on Rumble, Kent Hovind Official, on Genesis Baptist Church on YouTube, and Dr.Dino, 2 YouTube channels, and also on Odyssey, Kent Hovind Official. Check them all out at drdino.com, 855 BIG-DINO. David, Crystal, David, Jonathan, and Philip visiting from South Carolina, and they bought me the Hawaiian shirt. Now, that's one of the ways to this man's heart. Bring a Hawaiian. Lady Di worked in our ministry for years in Pensacola. She said, Brother Hovind, I just came from a garage sale. They had Hawaiian shirts your size. I bought 50 of them for $12. Not each, $12 for all of them, a quarter a piece. So I have I got 50 Hawaiian shirts. Wear a different one every day, just about, I love it. Only because they're quarter a piece. Okay, let's see. So Jerry came for a day and stayed for 2 days and built the house for the water slide pump and did a bunch of other projects down there. And Jerry taking off in the morning back for Texas, right? All right. Thank you. And for the giant dinosaur you made, praise God, brother. Coming to you live from Lenox, Alabama, Genesis Baptist Church. Come on down and see the place. We have cabins you can stay in, 25 cabins. How'd you like your stay in the cabin there, Jerry? Very good. That was okay. Good enough. All right. It's 7 years ago, there was nothing here but a bunch of mud, a gravel pit, and it's been amazing watching it come together. We have 17 lakes now for fishing. It's a big L-shaped property, 140 acres. Come on down. Stay for free. After about a day, though, we'll give you a hammer, put you to work. Rex, how long you been here now? Coming up on 2 years. And finally, we found a wife for you. Yeah. Man, that was tough. Yeah, sure was. Had to find somebody who was blind. And okay. So what are you waiting for? Come on down. Okay. October the 2nd, Exodus chapter 4. Help us to open for free if you'd like. Join our 777 Club. I want to give $1 a day. Mr. Nelson, who calls himself the sun god, Ra, gave us this brilliant idea. He was on his channel one time, said, I want 666 people to give me $1 a day to support my atheist movement. Okay, well, I said, man, we got to get Christians to support the creation movement. We got 30 people on staff, and he's got him. Got a lot to take care of there. Okay, PayPal. Let's write down here, Genesis Baptist. I got to update that. It's 23,600 now. Subscribe to our channel. Tell others about us. We were up to 200-some thousand when they took us down? Build it up again. All right, let's see. Make any checks to CSE. Okay, get our video series on Science in the Bible, 18 hours, $50 for the whole thing. And we've got these out all over the world, and they are stirring up trouble. Okay, talks about the age of the earth. The earth is not billions of years old. Dinosaurs did not live millions of years ago. And there's a bunch of lies in the textbooks, too. Let's see. Then get our Woe series. What on earth is about to happen? About the future, according to the Bible. All right. Bring your men's group, women's group, all them kind of groups. Come on down. Excuses, excuses. We sang that song last night or yesterday morning. My wife's not back yet from shopping. But when she says I'm going to Walmart, and I say, oh, brother, get the calendar. See you in about a month, Let's go up to slide number. Where did I go? 236. 236. Exodus chapter 4. What did we get here? 4 minutes for you critics. Okay. Moses answered and said, but behold, they will not believe me. God is asking him, Moses, go tell Pharaoh to let the people go. Moses apparently does not want to do it, so he's making an excuse. How many of you have ever been asked to do a job that you really didn't want to do? So you make an excuse. I can't do it, my left, right foot hurts or something like that, my car won't start. We didn't change the oil in the muffler bearings or, something. Okay. Moses answered, behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken to my voice. And they will say, the Lord hath not appeared unto thee. So God appears to him and says, go tell the people, I appeared to you, and you're going to go tell Pharaoh, let him go. And Moses said, they won't believe me. And the Lord said to him, what is that in thine hand? And he said, a rod. His first excuse was, I'm not qualified. Second excuse, last chapter, was, I don't know your name. So God said, my name is I am. Now he said, they won't believe me. Okay. The Lord said, what is that in thy hand? A rod. There's a powerful lesson right here if you just focus on it. God will never call you to do something and not qualify you and equip you to do it. What do you have in your hand? What do you have? Some of you have a skill. You have a skill with your hands. You can do mechanic work, or you can do electric work, or you can do, some have a gift of teaching. God's given you something. What do you have? And are you willing to use it? All he had was a walking stick. He was taking care of sheep, chasing sheep around for 40 years. What do you got? I got a stick, a rod. God said, that's all you need. Come on, let's go. All I need is a stick. I'm going to get 2 million people out of Egypt, the greatest kingdom in the world, and they're going to leave because I got a stick. Right. Okay. Okay. Okay, Pharaoh, better look at me. See, I got a stick right here. Okay. And God said, cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses fled from before it. And the Lord said to Moses, put forth thine hand and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand. I have heard, I cannot verify this, that the magicians had a snake in Egypt that they could pinch the back of the neck, and it would go paralyzed, but still be alive, and it would go stiff. And they would walk around with these things like it was a walking stick. And when they let go, it would turn back to a snake, start wiggling around. So they had to pick it up by the neck to paralyze, to pinch some kind of nerve or something to turn it back to a stick. So they'd walk around like they're cool, this is my walking stick, and let it go and it turned to a snake, and they'd fool people into thinking they're magic. That's why God said, take it by the tail. That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true or not. Maybe somebody can find out. Anyway, and he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand, that they may believe that the Lord God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, hath appeared unto thee. God said, Moses, I want these people to believe you. I want them to believe me. God wants us to trust him and believe him. And we just don't do it, do we? God wants badly for us to trust him. And bad things happen and say, Lord, why? I don't understand. I don't like it, Lord. And we, instead of just trusting him, we wander off and get mad. The Lord said furthermore unto him, put now thy hand into thy bosom. Stick your hand in your coat. And when he took it out, his hand was leprous as snow, leprosy. Put his hand in, pulled it out, and it's covered in leprosy, a disease of the skin that makes your skin rot off. And he said, put thy hand into thy bosom again. I don't want to touch any place else and get leprosy, Lord. And he put his hand into his bosom again and plucked it out of his bosom, and behold, it was turned again as his other flesh. So stick your hand in, turns to leprosy, stick it in again, and it's cured. Pharaoh ought to listen to that, ought to see these signs. And it can't come to pass if they will not believe thee, neither hearken to the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign. So God says, Moses, drop the stick, turns to a snake, pick it up by the tail, turns back to a stick. Now stick your hand in your coat, pull it out. If they won't believe the first one, they'll believe the second one. Okay. And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe these two signs, neither hearken to thy voice, that thou shalt take the water of the river and pour it on the dry land. And the water which thou takest out of the river shall become blood upon the dry land. And Moses said unto the Lord, O my Lord, I am not eloquent, neither heretofore nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant, but I am slow of speech and of a slow tongue. Excuse number 4, I can't speak very well. How many? I bet some of you are listening to me, and you have made an excuse why you can't teach that Sunday school class, why you can't go on the mission field, why you can't do what God has told you to do, and you're making some of these same stupid excuses. Just go. Just do it. Just get moving. He called you to do the job, now do it. Start a ministry. If God's called some of you to start a ministry or do something, well, do it. Quit making excuses. I can't talk well. I don't have any money. Or God owns the cattle on 1,000 hills and the hills. He'll take care of the money part. Don't ever worry about that. Just do the job he called you to do. And the Lord said unto him, Who hath made man's mouth? Here's Moses complaining, I can't speak well. God says, look at me, Moses. I am calling you to do a job. Quit making excuses. I made your mouth. I'll take care of that. Who maketh the dumb, the deaf, or the seeing, or the blind? Have not I the Lord? Now therefore go, and I will be with thy mouth and teach thee what thou shalt say. Problem solved, Moses. I'll take care of your mouth. Don't worry about it. Quit complaining. All right. And he said, O my Lord, send, I pray thee, by the hand of him whom thou wilt send. Now the Lord's getting angry. He's making a fifth excuse. Lord, he didn't listen to God. God said, I'm going to be with your mouth. And he had said, I can't talk well. So he says, now, Lord, who are you going to send for me? Who are you going to send with me to talk for me? And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses. And he said, is not Aaron, the Levite, thy brother? Remember, Aaron was 3 years older than him. And I know that he can speak well. And also, behold, he cometh forth to meet thee. And when he seeth thee, he will be glad in his heart. Fifth excuse, who will you send with me? Moses, would you quit making excuses and go? Your people are suffering back there. The longer you delay on this calling, the more pain they got to go through. You got 2 million people in slavery and you're dilly-dallying around with dumb excuses. And some of people are going to die and go to hell because God told you to start a ministry and you didn't do it, did you? You're still making excuses. Go do it. I bet there's people at mission fields around the world, brother, that should have had a missionary 5 years ago. Nobody went. God called you to go and you didn't go, did you? That's going to be your count for Judgment Day. It's going to be on your back. It's your fault. God's called some of you to do something. Go do it. I can't speak well. They won't believe me. God called me to make fun of the atheists. They don't believe me. I like it that they don't believe me. Having fun. Okay, make fun of them. He said, talking to Aaron, about Aaron, and thou shalt speak unto him and put words in his mouth, and I will be with thy mouth and with his mouth. Moses, look, I told you it'd be fine, but if you want to bring Aaron along, okay, I'll put my words in both of your mouths, and will teach you what ye shall do. And he shall be thy spokesperson unto the people. And he shall be to thee instead of a mouth, and thou shalt be to him instead of God. He'll be your intermediary between me and the people. If that's what you insist on, Moses, okay, take your brother. And thou shalt take this rod in thine hand, wherewith thou shalt do signs. And Moses went and returned to Jethro, his father-in-law. Remember, he's been taking care of the guy's sheep now for 40 years. He married his daughter. And said unto him, let me go, I pray thee, and return unto my brethren which are in Egypt. You know, Moses is 80 years old. I don't think he needs to ask permission from his father-in-law, but it's still the polite thing to do. Hey, Dad, can I take your daughter, and we've been married 40 years, but can I take your daughter and go back to Egypt and see whether they be yet alive, my brethren which are in Egypt? And Jethro said to Moses, go in peace. And the Lord said to Moses in Midian, go, return into Egypt, for all the men are dead which sought thy life. Remember, they were chasing him out of Egypt 40 years ago. And Moses took his wife and his sons and set them upon an ass, and he returned to the land of Egypt. And Moses took the rod of God in his hand. Wait. Whose rod is this? God said, Moses, what do you have in your hand? He said, a rod. It was Moses' rod, wasn't it? But now, not anymore. That's God's rod. If you will take whatever you've got in your hand and say, Lord, you can have it. I've got this talent. I've got this skill. I've got this money. I've got what do you have? Lord, it's yours. You give what you have to God. He'll say, okay, watch this. Watch what I can do. Like Jesus preaching to a crowd, 5,000 men plus women plus children, probably 20,000 people listening to Jesus preach. Little boy walks up and said, the disciples said, hey, Lord, these people are hungry. Send them away. They're gonna faint in the wilderness here. Little boy walks up, says, hey, Jesus, you can have my sack lunch. You don't have much. You got 5 biscuits and 2 fish sticks. Jesus said, hey, kid, sit down. Watch this. And he fed all those people and had 12 baskets left over. I bet he gave those baskets to that kid. Each disciple carried one home. And Mama probably said, son, we don't have much money around here. And that sack lunch I gave you, if any of those biscuits left over, oh, Mama, you ain't going to believe what I got. 12 baskets full. You give it to Jesus. You don't have to have much. Matter of fact, he prefers that you don't have much so you don't get big-headed about it. He prefers to use those that are the least likely. That way he gets the glory. God will call the dumb to do his job. So some of you are qualified for that. Well, come on, get busy. Do something for God with your life. Now it's the rod of God. And the Lord said to Moses, when thou goest to Egypt, see that thou do all these wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thine hand, but I will harden his heart. See, if you lay a lump of clay and a stick of butter out on the sidewalk in the hot sun, same sun shines on both of them. What happens to the butter? Melts. What happens to the clay? It's hard. Same sun, same temperature, different reaction. See, when God shines the light on you, how you react is up to you. Some people harden their heart and some people soften their heart. I have prayed a million times, Lord, I want to have a soft heart. When you show me what to do, Lord, I want to just soften my heart. But some of you won't do what God wants because you got a hard heart and a hard head to go with it. God said, I'm going to harden his heart. It's not God's fault. God knew how Pharaoh would react, that's all. When you do these miracles, his heart's going to get hard. So is God hardening the heart? Well, I guess so, because he's performing the miracles. But it's really Pharaoh's fault. He could have chosen to soften his heart. No, he's Pharaoh. He's God. Ar and Ra, the sun god. Okay, yeah. I will harden his heart that he shall not let the people go. And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus saith the Lord, Israel is my son, even my firstborn. Thus saith the Lord. Thus saith the Lord. I got curious. Thus saith the Lord's in the Bible 413 times. I think maybe we should listen when God says something, shouldn't we? Huh? It's in the book of 2 Kings because the kings were pretty, hard-headed, some of them, 20 times. It's in Jeremiah 148 times. Jeremiah was called the weeping prophet. He would preach and cry because he knew these people are not listening. God said, Jeremiah, deliver this message. Oh, Lord, they don't want to hear it. I know, Jeremiah, but you got to deliver the message anyway, so that now it's on them. God said, my hands are going to be clean, Judgment Day. Nobody's going to blame me for what happens. Jeremiah delivered the message. Thus saith the Lord, 148 times. Ezekiel, 126 times. And I say unto thee, talking to God said, you tell Pharaoh, let my son go, Israel, that he may serve me. And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn. Moses, go tell Pharaoh, Israel's my firstborn son. Let him go. If he won't, tell Pharaoh, I'm going to kill his son. And it came to pass by the way in the inn that the Lord met him and sought to kill him. Wait. Moses is on the way to do the job that God called him to do, and now God stops him and going to kill him. Why? Well, Zipporah, his wife, took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son, circumcised him, and cast it at his feet, and said, surely a bloody husband art thou to me. So he let him go. Now, this is all it says in the story, but I'm going to add a little bit of the Hovind translation here. I bet Moses and his wife had an argument about, should we circumcise the boy or not? Moses said, we have to. God told us to, and Mama didn't want to. How many of you have ever had a disagreement with your wife over anything? Raise your hand, Joe. Okay. So I think Zipporah was one of them hard-headed women, said, you ain't cutting that off of my boy. No way. Okay. And Moses said, we have to, honey. No, we're not doing it. Or you're sleeping on the couch for 6 years. Or however, you know how they fight over. Okay. A bloody husband art thou. So God was going to kill him. So they stopped. Zipporah took a sharp stone, cut off the foreskin, threw it down at his feet, said, you bloody man. So he let him go. Then she said, a bloody husband art thou because of the circumcision. Circumcision. What are the pros and cons? Well, from WebMD, medical website, American Academy of Pediatrics found that health benefits of newborn male circumcision, prevention of urinary tract infections, penile cancer, and transmission of some sexually transmitted diseases, that would be later, including HIV, outweigh the risks. So the risk of cutting the skin, which heals up quickly, and is minimal compared to the benefits. This is my covenant. Back in Genesis 17, God said, Abram, you're going to be my child. You're going to be my family. I'm going to use your descendants, the Jews, in a mighty way. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, all the Jews. This is my covenant, which ye shall keep between me and you, and thy seed after thee. Every man-child among you shall be circumcised. That's the covenant. The Jews, it's a big deal for them. Every male gets circumcised. And ye shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin. He that is 8 days old shall be circumcised. Every man-child in your generations. House. Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, being 8 days old, as God commanded him. Leviticus. In the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. 1930s, Danish researcher Henrik Dam and American researcher Edward Dosey found that which was required for blood to clot. They shared the Nobel Prize for it in 1943. Human body has 2 blood clotting elements. One of them is vitamin K. Vitamin K is not formed in the body up until the 5th to the 7th day. Newborn babies don't start making their own vitamin K till they're 5 to 7 days old. The second clotting factor, which is essential, is prothrombin. Surprisingly enough, develops to 30% of normal in the 3rd day, and after that, with seeming inconsequence, peaks at 110% on the 8th day. So the blood clotting factor, you get 110% and then tapers back off to 100%. 110% on the 8th day. Let's see. So the prothrombin gets 100% and goes beyond that on the 8th day. So when's the best time to circumcise where they won't have any blood clotting problems? The 8th day. Okay. I bet Abraham never even thought about vitamin K. The Lord said to Moses, go into the wilderness to meet, the Lord said unto Aaron, go into the wilderness to meet Moses. And he went and met him in the mount of God. Do you know what's in that little one verse 27? God said, Aaron. Now where's Aaron? He's in Egypt. Go into the wilderness to meet Moses. Lord, you want me to walk 300 miles and find my brother in the desert? What's the chances of that happening? No GPS. And he went and met him in the mount of God and kissed him. And Moses told Aaron all the words of the Lord who had sent him, and all the signs which he had commanded him. So Aaron had to go from here to here. He did not even know where Moses was. Moses was running, remember, 40 years ago, away from the Pharaoh going to kill him. How is Aaron supposed to find this guy? He just you just do what God says and he will guide. Just do what he says. When the Lord gave us this gravel pit up here with nothing but gravel pit. I said, okay, Lord. Boy, has he provided. It's been stunning watching it just come together. People donate things. People stop with the right scale. Hey, I can do that. I'll fix that for you. 300 miles. Moses and Aaron went and gathered together all the elders of the children of Israel. Well, they had to walk back 300 miles. How long would that take? And Aaron spake all the words. Keep in mind, Moses is 80 years old. Aaron's 83. I don't think they want to be walking 300 miles. God will give you the strength to do what he wants to, by the way. And Aaron spake all the words which the Lord had spoken unto Moses, and did the signs in the sight of the people. And the people believed. When they heard that the Lord had visited the children of Israel, and that he had looked upon their affliction, they bowed their heads and worshipped. They've been in slavery for a long time. They've been evil entreated for a long time. They've been beaten. And Moses, they've been crying, God, would you please get us out of here? Moses and Aaron come. Look at this. Watch this stick turn to a snake. Watch my hand turn to leprosy. Watch this water turn to blood. He really did talk to you, didn't he? Yeah. We're going to go talk to Pharaoh to let you go. Now they're all excited. For now. We'll see later on. They're not. And even after they get out they're free from slavery. They still grumble and complain. Brother Meister, you've been pastored for a while. Do you ever have people in your church grumble, complain? Oh, yeah. Grumble, complain. By the way, it's been, 3,400 years, and they're still over there in Israel, some of them grumbling and complaining. Still griping and complaining. Some of you have been saved for a long time. You're still griping and complaining, aren't you? Okay, anyway, that's Exodus chapter 4. Chapter 5 tomorrow night. Questions or comments?
Yes, sir.
Whole bunch? Okay. My wife Madison and I, John, had a great visit. Everyone was very nice. Good to hear where the Lord brought you from. My girl Amelia wants to know if some dinosaurs could still be around. Yes, Amelia, if you watch my video number 3 of my series, I cover dinosaurs that lived with man all through history. They probably called a different name because the word dinosaur wasn't made up till 1841. Called them dragons, or it depends on the culture. Noah took them on the ark, probably babies. Why would you bring big anything on the ark? Bring babies of everything. Why would you bring big elephants? Bring baby elephants. Hello. They eat less, they poop less, they sleep more, they're going to live longer. They're tougher. They can bounce around if the seas get rough, and kids bounce around and are fine. Adults fall down and break, So we probably brought babies of everything, including dinosaurs. After the flood, things changed. Lifespans dropped off. Before the flood, they were living 900 years. After the flood, it dropped off to 400, then 200, then 100. Something changed, and I covered that on video number 2 about the what happened to the earth at that flood, besides just the flood water, the collapse of the canopy. So they couldn't live as long. So many of the big dinosaurs probably died off from the climate change. They couldn't live long enough to get babies anymore. Many were killed by man. They called them dragons or some other name. And there are hundreds of stories of people slaying dragons. And some might still be alive. You need to watch video 3. Got a whole bunch of interviews and stuff on there, people who've seen them. I talked to Sandy Mancy up in Vermont. I said, do you think you saw a dinosaur, a plesiosaur, Lake Champlain monster? She said, oh, no. I know I saw a dinosaur. Oh, yes, ma'am. 11,000 people claim they've seen the Loch Ness monster. Are they all lying? Now, to you atheists, I know, you have already decided dinosaurs fit way back here long ago and far away, and you're not even going to think that this is even possible. But if you have an open mind and a brain cell still functioning, watch video 3. Yes, there could be some still alive, okay? Usually a lot smaller than they used to be. Okay, come back and visit, John, okay? Let's see. Crybaby. Could you please look into this apparent contradiction? 1 John 4:12, no man has seen God. If we love one another, God dwelleth in us, and his love is perfected in him. I cover on my, I had a book here, Supposed Contradictions in the Bible, and that one is in there about no man has seen God. There's also some of the supposed contradictions in my video number 7, seminar part 7. I cover some of those. And Crybaby, listen to me. If we answer this supposed contradiction, and there's a very simple answer for it, will you then quit crying and join the Lord? Or are you going to go look for another one? See, you don't want the Bible to be true. This is your problem. If that one doesn't work, you're going to search for another one, aren't you?
That's evolutionist Crybaby. This is our boy.
Oh, it's a different guy.
Yeah, this is our boy.
Some people, there's creationist Crybaby. Some people just don't want the Bible to be true. Why don't you make Aaron Rob pay rent in your mind? Because he doesn't live in my mind, okay? I live in his, okay? I don't think about him once in a while. I say, oh, yeah, let's pick on him once in a while. Get my hammer out. Real science. Where'd my hammer go? Is it behind me? Oh, here we go. Real science. Whack him on the head once in a while. I got a whole long list of atheists to whack. So no, Aaron's no. He's no. He claims to be God, and talking about the Egyptian gods. We're in Exodus chapter 4. That's why it comes up. Crybaby. Okay, let's see. C.J. Baptist. I like that. What would you say to someone who outright refuses to listen to the word? I'm trying to convert a member of my family. She refuses to listen. I fear for her soul. Please help. Sometimes all you can do is move on. If you had to plant your garden in your backyard, plant your backyard as a garden to feed your family for the winter. Half of your yard is good soil and half is hard dirt. I would get the good soil planted first, and if I have time, go work on the hard rock. If I don't, oh well. I want to make sure I get a crop coming in. There are so many people who want to hear, go find them. Maybe somebody else can reach. What you might want to pray is, Lord, I can't reach this girl. I'll go reach somebody else's friend. Would you send somebody to reach this one? Maybe God will send somebody to reach yours while you reach somebody else's, okay? Last one. Mick, what are your thoughts on the Large Hadron Collider? I am concerned that there's a lot of research going on in many different areas of big government, we'll call it. So you got to understand, in any sport, the teams that are opposing each other have a goal. In basketball, their goal is to get to that basket and throw it through the hoop. If I'm on defense, my job is to stay between them and the basket. They might fake left, fake right, fake up, fake down, but their goal doesn't change. They want that basket. The devil was told clear back in Genesis chapter 3, someday some seed of the woman is going to bruise your head. He has, ever since that day, tried to do anything in his power to kill every human being alive. He hates humans. He wants to kill them all. And so he will have to use other humans to do his job. So Satan talks people into joining his crew and do the job of the goal. His goal is to kill all of humans because we're made in God's image. We remind him of God. And one of us someday is going to bruise his head. So this is all, protect himself. So the goal doesn't change. The goal of many people that are working for Satan is lower the population. That's what abortion does. That's what a lot of the stuff they spray in the sky, the chemtrails does. That's all kinds of things. They'll say, oh, we didn't intend for it to do that. Well, you maybe didn't, but the devil did. Unintended consequences. There's a lot of things going on that are the purpose is to lower the population. Read Revelation and look at my chart I made about this. During the time of the Great Tribulation, which I think we're probably either have entered or coming soon, 7-year period, a fourth of the world die from one of the plagues. Let's say there's close to 8 billion people now on the planet. Can you imagine if 2 billion people all died? You need to read the book of Revelation when it's going to get like really, really bad. A bunch of people are going to die. And this is all Satan's plan. This is what he wants. Okay? Anything else? That's it. All right. Thank you so much. 7:30, half hour, not too bad. See you tomorrow for Exodus chapter 5. Okay. Tomorrow. Bye.